Okay, so it's Friday. This was going to be the last day of the climate talks. There was a new text published late last night, but it's very clear that the talks are very unlikely to end today. It looks like they're going to go at the very least into tomorrow, Saturday, before there's any kind of sign of agreement between the hundreds of countries gathered here, and it's possible they might yet go into Sunday as well. So that new text came in overnight. Teams from Friends of the Earth International have been looking at it and pulling it apart and trying to understand what's going on, and also getting the gossip from different countries about other things that are going on in the negotiations. So let's go in and find out what's going on, and in particular let's go in and find out what the UK's been up to. Have they been playing a helpful role in these negotiations, or actually has the backsliding and the dismantling of climate policy that's been happening in the UK these last few months, is that causing a real problem? We're going to go in and find out. So yesterday I showed you the old text. There it was. That was the old text that we were looking at, came out on Wednesday night. That's now gone. That's now been replaced with this text that came out last night, late last night, Thursday. And so a lot of the text that was in there has been lost, and some of it was really good text and important text. So now with this one, there's this sort of blurry bit here at the moment, which is a draft decision. We get into there, that's the draft, what would become a draft protocol, which is really important, and so that's the real substance of this beast. And here, I'll just probably show you some highlights. This is the bit here that's talking about temperature controls. Remember the other day I was talking about whether it's 1.5 degrees or 2 degrees? They've fudged it. Now they're just saying pursue efforts to limit temperature increase to 1.7 degrees and well below 2 degrees. So that's not as strong as it was, so that's a bit of backsliding. Remember I talked about how human rights were there before in square brackets? Well, unfortunately, even the square brackets have gone now. So yesterday, on Human Rights Day internationally, human rights were taken out of this draft protocol. Quite shocking. And then down here, now we see the aim is to reach the peaking of greenhouse gas emissions as soon as possible. It used to have specific dates in there. This is now equivalent with what I do every year, is saying let's lose weight by as soon as possible, rather than by a set date. It's not going to work. Here, you have also the most shocking thing is the taking out of the key principle around loss and damage. We were talking about the need to compensate countries that have had nothing to do with the causes of climate change, and the rich countries to be able to compensate them for it. Well, here we've now put in an explicit reference as one of the options here that this new protocol would in no way provide a basis for compensating the poorer countries. Now that's been put in there principally by the US, but we understand the UK has been supporting the US in trying to put that language in there to stop any concept of compensation for damage caused by rich countries. That is quite scandalous. And we've heard other things about the UK today. I had a negotiator say to me today from one of the other EU member states, said David Cameron is now seen as greenwasher in chief. It's because now, because of the backsliding in the UK just the last 7 months, it means they've lost a lot of the credibility that the UK once had in these negotiations. So a real problem. We are seeing that the draft deal here is getting weaker by the moment. That's a problem. Let's be clear what's happening. Everyone kind of wants an agreement here, but the more they kind of negotiate and trade away, you end up with an agreement that doesn't do what it says on the tin. It doesn't stop dangerous climate change, and it doesn't do that in a fair way. It's a real problem.